Hello and welcome to a podcast about something where each week we dive deep into whatever it is we find interesting. I am your host Calvin, and joining me from a four-way stop where no one's really sure who goes next and or whose turn it is. What do we do? It's our co-host Nick Richardson.
Dude, let's go! Come on!
Just somebody fucking go! I don't care who it is.
I hate the incessant hand waving. Like everyone's like, no, you go. And I was, oh,
no,
thanks.
you were there first. You have the right of way. Just fucking go.
It's like, did I pick the most polite four-way stop in the entire world? I guess I did.
So today we're talking about, we're going to air some of our grievances with the world in general. We've broken up into kind of 5 categories, at work, with other people, friends, or just like people in the world, transportation, relationships, and media or other.
Oh, I went media.
I have some media, but I threw some other stuff in there too, so.
I have oddly,
we'll see how it goes.
This took me like maybe 3 minutes to come up with everything. It's like, oh man, these are usually on the forefront of my mind. Because I feel like
it was this thing where like I had taken myself out of the mind space for it, and then like I just Googled like list of pet peeves or something like that, and I found this list on ranker.com of the 50 most common pet peeves, and I'm going through the list, and I'm like, well, that's not really what bothers me, but this other thing that's similar to it. So once I got there, I just started rolling with it. Yeah, it was pretty easy.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of good Twitter feedback on things that annoy you guys or you guys don't like out there. So stay tuned for that when we get to it. But let's start right, where probably most people's annoyances come. Let's start at work.
Fucking work, man. The bane of my existence.
I think it's the bane of everyone's existence, but we have to do it. We got to be there, got to make that bread. We got families to support.
Make that paper.
My biggest thing at work, and this is really the only reason I wanted to do this podcast, so I could talk about this, are meetings that don't need to be meetings.
Oh,
especially if it's something that fits in an email. Why are you going to take up an hour on my schedule when I have other shit going on to sit in a meeting and the whole conversation could have taken 5 minutes, or you could have emailed me? Or worse than that too, and I'm just going to wrap this all up in meetings, is a meeting that doesn't actually accomplish anything.
Definitely.
But setting up, like, the only thing that gets accomplished is you set up the follow-up meeting to literally have the exact same discussion that you didn't have that time. So it's like, okay, I wasted an hour. Now let's schedule another hour in a week or so to do the exact same thing. Like, no, just fucking email me.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Seriously. Or those long-winded conversations that make it last an hour where it's like, just give me the facts, goddammit.
Yeah, this meeting could have been 10 minutes and you turned it into an hour because you had nothing better to do.
Seriously, I don't care what kind of blouse Becky was wearing. I don't. Doesn't need to be in the work conversation.
Karen, I don't give a shit what your cat did this weekend.
Seriously.
I don't care. Move on.
And your haircut.
Like, let's get to the point. We're here to talk about accounting processes. Let's get to them. It's a mess.
It's a mess. Oh shit. Yeah, dude. There's a lot of truth to that. When I worked for a small company as a manager, we had those meetings every morning, and then the boss would get pissed at us for wasting time. Like, we'd get back late in the day.
That's always the best.
Oh my god.
What have you been doing all day? Well, shit.
Well,
somebody scheduled a meeting.
It's not even that. It's like, why are you back so late, huh? Why are you so late getting out? It's like, I don't know, that hour and a half meeting where you talked about nothing and smoked 38 cigarettes. Like, what do you want from me? And when I really started thinking about how, fuck man, it's 65, 70 hours a week. Let's talk about an hour and a half a day. So, really not that bad. Less than 10 hours of time during my week just in bullshit meetings that never accomplished anything.
Oh, yeah.
So,
God,
that was
absolutely.
so frustrating.
And it's the same thing. So the problem with where I work is it's a lot of not older, but like middle-aged people. So not like necessarily tech friendly, like not email isn't their first go-to thing. So every time something happens where you need more than 3 people in on a conversation, it's like, well, let's just get everyone together and have a meeting. And then you got to try and worry about what everyone's schedule is. Everybody's got shit going on all the time. And it's like, okay, well, there's no good time to get all 4 people together, but we'll do it anyways. And then you waste that whole hour and it's really a 5-minute discussion, and that you all didn't need to be in the same room. You could have either set up a conference call or sent an email and CC'd everyone. But because they're so technology averse and email averse, it's like, oh, let's just get everyone together just to see, just get everyone's thoughts on it. It's like, well, no, we don't need to do that.
I just missed you guys.
Send out an email. If they have an issue with it, they will respond.
Seriously, man.
If they don't, then that's on them. They've been notified.
They've been notified.
We don't need to get everybody's opinion on every little thing.
No, definitely
it doesn't matter.
You should start saying that to them when you've been notified, and just walk away real quick. Like, I have no part in this meeting. Fuck you.
I think I've kind of tried that this last week. We were in a meeting and we made a decision. We were going to try and go through it, just like go ahead, hit the nail on the head with it, get it over with. And somebody's like, whoa, wait, maybe we should discuss this with everyone. We're like, why? It's something is set up wrong. We know how to fix it. We'll fix it and we'll let everyone know that it's fixed. Why are we getting everyone's opinion on whether it should be fixed or not? Because there's going to be one guy who thinks it shouldn't be fixed, and he's just going to argue in a circle for an hour. And then nothing's going to get accomplished.
No.
That guy's the worst too. The guy that argues in a circle.
Well,
he doesn't actually have a point or doesn't believe his point, but he just wants to argue so it feels like he said something.
Seriously, and I bet you at least this phrase will be said. Well, I've never seen it with my own eyes, so I don't believe it, bro.
That and so it's that guy and the guy that's like, well, what about this one thing that happened 6 years ago? I remember it happened. So how will that happen because I do a lot of system stuff and upgrading things like that. So like these guys who have been working there for 40 years, they'll be like, well, this one thing happened 12 years ago. And this guy, he was supposed to come in at this time, but he really came in at this time. And then he did this instead of that. Like, how would that work in this new system? I'm like, I don't fucking know. If that happens again in the next 12 years, we'll figure it out when it happens. Like, you can't plan for every little one-off situation, but like these guys just want to run around in circles about these one-off situations.
God, that's so
I could probably do a whole hour just on useless things that happen in meetings, but I don't want to take up all that. You come with something new.
Well, here's mine. It's pretty simple. It's when people are fucking oblivious. They are just in a fog. You know what I mean? Like when you could talk right to their face, and 10 minutes later, it's just like, huh? Yeah. I don't know, man.
I had a guy like that where it was like he came in and he wanted to know like how some things worked and how he did different things, and it's like I would explain it to him, and then literally the next day he would come back and ask the exact same question, and that it would happen like 4 times with the same system. And it's like, I literally explained this to you already.
Yeah, if you needed help, you should have asked me then. What is going on? But I cannot stand that when people are just coasting through. I'm at work. I'm making money. I think you should be focused enough. Like, I dick around a decent amount, but at the same time, like when I'm there, I'm still laser focused. It's not like I'm ignoring my job duties or anything. And when people are just, I deal with a lot of people that'll show up baked out of their goddamn mind. And they're just going through the motions of their job, and they just miss little shit. And I think that's what really gets me, is when people fuck up because they're oblivious. And it's just like, you know what, man? I work way too hard to sit here and watch you just act like a fool. When it's grown people, act a fool, son. But when it's grown ass people, it's like, okay, you're 52. You've been doing this a very long time. What? Like, what the fuck? And there's a secondary one to that, because I've noticed that they stay oblivious until there's some gossip. And holy shit, people are so nosy, man. Like, I'm kind of a private guy. I don't talk. When I'm at work, I don't really have friends. I just work there.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I go in, I do my work, I leave when I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. It's a means to an end. I got to do it, so that's really all it is to me. Mm-hmm. And people are so goddamn nosy and just want to find out everything about my life. It's like, well, my name's Nick. That's really all you need to know. I work here. Yeah, I am security. If you need something secured, you call me. You have my number, and don't ever. I've had people text me outside of work, like a manager, about some really garbage shit. I'll just say it. She was banging an employee and thought this employee. Oh my god, yeah. So she thought this employee had told me. So she sends me these flurries of texts like, I'm going to get fired because my husband's going to leave me. And I had no idea
Yeah,
like
probably.
what the hell she was talking about. I had no idea, dude. I'm just like, it's 9:30 at night. Like, I'm hanging out with my fucking pregnant wife, and you're texting me about that? Like, how'd you get my number? She
Yeah.
really went into the personal, archives there at the business to get my goddamn cell phone number. And I can't stand that. I had someone damn near grab my phone out of my hand the other day to look at pictures of my kid. And it's like, well,
Oh yeah, that when my first daughter was born, there was like some boundary. Like, oh, can we see pictures? I was like, I guess, but like 90% of the pictures I took are with my wife half naked because she's like holding the baby right after she had her. I'm like, I mean, I guess I can show you pictures, but like, don't start swiping too much.
yeah, that's kind of when people want to grab my phone and it's like, hey, I don't want you to see my text, emails, and any of the flurry of activities I get all
Yeah.
day, every day. It's like, that's none of your business. I'll show you. I'll hold it. And I'll show it
Yeah.
to you. But
Here's the approved picture you can see of my child.
exactly. And I have one that's just perfect. It's with my daughter smiling, with my wife holding her. And then there's my cat, is such a good boy. He's sitting next to my wife, and that's the picture I show everyone. Because they're
Yeah,
really
that's a good one.
incessant. They're fucking annoying
Oh
about it,
yeah.
man.
Well, do you have new pictures? Well, no, she hasn't changed. To me, she's changed a lot, but you don't give a shit anyways. You're gonna forget what she looks like in 10 seconds. So
Yeah,
yeah, I have very little patience for that stuff. Saying kind of same as you is like I'm here to just do my job. Leave me the hell alone.
yeah, and I'm sure
And
a
I
lot
have a
of
lot
people
of
will hate us for that, but whatever.
oh yeah, well I have a lot of time of like I have to sit at people's computers and fix things on their computers. So they're just standing there behind me, and like they're not comfortable. I don't care that they're like standing behind me looking at what I do because I'm not like it's not rocket science what I do, but like they're just standing there and they can't handle the silence, so they're like constantly trying
bugging
to
you.
talk to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm really trying to figure this problem out, and every time you talk to me, it breaks my concentration. Like this is why I have to work from home because there are 5 people in the office that I used to work in. And I couldn't fucking do it because every time I would get into something, someone would walk by my door and go, hey, well, just real quick. And the real quick thing is never actually real quick.
No.
It's like, to you, it's real quick, but to me, I have to stop. I have to stop in the middle of what I'm doing that I've been working on for an hour. I have a train of thought going. I have to stop that train of thought, focus on your thing, figure out your thing so you fucking leave my office, and then try and get back on track with my thing. And like people don't understand that. They think I'm just sitting there doing nothing, waiting for someone to bring something to me. So like now that I work from home, it's so much easier because they have to email me or call me. And if they call me and I'm in the middle of something, I can just ignore it until I'm done with what I'm doing and then call them back. And if they email me, I just ignore it until I'm done with what I'm doing. There's no popping into my door. And it was worse before because I didn't have an office. I had like a table in a common area, basically,
Oh no.
that everyone would walk through. So it was just constantly people popping. I had a little wall over it because it was kind of like this cubicle thing, but it wasn't like it was an office with cubicles set up. It was just this cubicle that they had stuck in the corner of this common room, and it was a room everybody walked through. So it was just constantly popping their head over, and it was rough. So I had to move there to an office where I could close the door if I needed to. People still don't really respect the closed door for some reason.
Seriously,
Like
no.
whatever, like that's fine. But now that I'm working at home most days, like it's 100 times better.
I bet, man. I would love that.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I would love that.
So the other thing that I had, and this kind of goes along with the thing you had, is just accepted incompetence. Like,
Yeah.
well, we could try to get this person who has this job to do something that should be part of their job, but he or she isn't going to do it, so we're not even going to try. Well, it's like, but that's supposed to be part of their job. Like, yeah, they're going to push back, but at the end of the day, they have to do it because it's something that needs to be done. We can't just accept, well, I'm not going to do that.
Well, it's like, are you the boss or not? If it needs to be done,
I'm not.
someone's got to do exactly. But that's how I feel when my manager or boss or something
Well, right.
is
And
just won't address the goddamn issue. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
just so frustrating.
Well, I'm in the kind of the same position. I'm a manager of no one, but like I have a lot of answers to things, or like things that I figure out have to be complete process updates. Like people have to do things differently sometimes. And a lot of these people, like I said, they've been doing it for 40 years. They don't want to change their processes. So these process changes should be pushed from management down and saying like, look, this is the way it needs to go. We need to do it, blah, blah, blah. So I'll always bring my solutions to the managers and expect them to bring it to their employees and push everything down. But like I get there and then they're just like, well, yeah, just let them know what they need to do. And I'm like, okay, but nobody listens to me because I have no control over their job. Like I can tell them. Some of them might do it, but most of them won't because they don't give a shit what I say. You need to tell them, and you need to tell them that their job depends on it.
Exactly. Or, it's necessary. And
Yeah.
God, that is so... No backbone in a manager sometimes.
They don't give a shit if it comes from me. And, like, they get so much shit from me anyways, just, like, emails and all this other stuff that I know most of my stuff just gets overlooked 90% of the time. So it's like, okay, I'm going to tell them, but it's not going to go anywhere. If you tell them, they have to listen because you're their manager. Yeah. And it's like there's shit like that all over the place of just like, well, he's not going to do that, so let's try and figure out a different way.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is the best way.
Well, yeah, this is the best way. We should do it this way.
So I have to do more work to figure out a workaround because your guy won't do 2 extra steps. Thank you.
Yeah. You are a boner, Mr. Boner Champ.
Boner Jams 03.
Dude, I say that all the time, and no one knows what it means. Thank you for that. That made my day.
Yeah, I get it. I get the Boner Jams.
Boner Jams 03. It's a great summer.
All right, before we move on to the next thing, do you have anything more at work?
I'm going to leave work as is, because I could rant forever.
Well, that's the thing. We could probably do a whole hour on just things that happen at work.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. That's not what we're here for today.
It's a bummer.
Let's talk about things that annoy you with other people. Friends, just random ass people, whatever. You go first.
I have a very specific one for this also.
I have a couple very specific ones.
Yeah.
And the people that I'm talking about may actually know that I'm talking about them, and I don't give a shit. Fuck you for doing these things.
You're gonna be like, hey man, you're so rude. But mine
We're still
is
friends, but stop doing this shit.
Please, or I'll tell you to shut up, or just stop fucking doing it. But I have one that a lot falls under it. So it's having no sense of public interaction or like a public presence. So it's people that walk around like talking on their speakerphone, walking down the middle of the goddamn aisle, driving super
slow walkers.
Oh,
I've got that slow walkers that like if there's a group of like 4 of them, they spread out in a horizontal line for whatever reason. So nobody can get past them.
Exactly. I stare daggers at it. I mean, I'm a stocky dude, so I can kind of push through people pretty easy. And I just will do that and just mug the shit out of them. I don't give a shit if
I'm
you're
the opposite.
70.
I'm a skinny guy, so like I'll sneak around you and just like give you the death glare as I'm sneaking around you. Like what the fuck? Like you're in the whole fucking aisle.
I know, and people get so offended, and I'm just like, you are in the whole. You're
in the way.
Yeah, you are so important. Apparently, you rule this goddamn sidewalk.
Or like the lady with her shopping cart that's got 50 things of clothes on top of the cart. The cart's kind of pushed away from her a little, and she's looking at the clothes rack next to her still, like holding things up. So she's taking up that whole aisle so you can't actually walk through the clothing aisle. That's bad too.
I hate that. I had someone... Okay, I had a group of people at Walmart.
Spatial awareness
is a big
that
one.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. And these stupid ladies were just taking up the whole aisle. So I try to sneak around them. And this lady just keeps going and blasts me, dude. I get blasted into a goddamn shelf. And I'm thinking, holy shit, this 300-pound woman who looks like she can barely walk just trucked me in the middle
elbow
of
dropped
fucking
you.
Walmart. Fucking stunnered me, dude. It was terrible. But, another horrible one is driving super slow and recklessly. Yeah. So, like, cutting you off and then slowing down.
So I had that under transportation, yeah.
Oh, I hate that so much. The last and final one under that umbrella is standing too close. I feel like that...
Okay, yeah, spatial awareness. Just
we might as well
no idea what's around you.
We might as well rephrase it as that. My thing with people is spatial awareness. God, I hate it. It's always older people, man. They stand like 2 centimeters behind you while you're paying for something. It's like, get out of my ass, please. Like,
well, they got to make sure that everyone knows they're next in line. Like, because it's not a fucking line where everyone knows. Let me get real close to you. Maybe I can sneak behind you and throw my stuff on your conveyor belt.
Dude, maybe.
I don't
You
know what
just
they're
solved
doing.
it, bro. I
It's
I don't know what it is. Do you want to smell me or something? Like, do you want my body heat? Like, I don't understand why people stand so close. My wife knows it too. Like, as soon as we walk away from like paying for something, I'm just like, God, that dumb motherfucker was standing so close to me, and I don't know what it is, but I get hyper focused. So I can just, if someone has any body odor whatsoever, it hits me full frontal, and it just
oh
kind
yeah.
of irritates me.
I've got very strong sense of smell as well. Like when my girls were in diapers, like I would smell them across the house when they would poop.
Damn.
And my wife would be like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I guarantee it." And she'd go walk across the house and figure out that, yep, that's what's going on. Or like I'd be in the kitchen doing something and my wife would be in the room with the kid and I'd be like, "I think she just pooped." And she's like, "No way, I can't smell it." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, you can enjoy that crusty one later.
But yeah, my wife's kind of bad with spatial awareness sometimes. Not, she's never doing it like purposefully. It's more obliviousness. It's just like she'll get a text message and just stop right in the middle and start texting back. And it's like, you're in move over, like get out of people's way. There's people coming, like, or like if she turns to talk to me, she has to stop moving, turn and talk to me. And I'm like, what? Get out of these people's way! Like you just stopped in front of
Grab
7
her,
people. Like
come here.
just move.
Come here.
Like we can get off to the side. It's fine.
What?
This conversation will be the same 3 feet away.
Dude, okay, this just hit me like a ton of bricks. One last thing is the super close talkers.
Close talker.
Oh my God, there's this kid I
I
went
don't
to
think I've
school with.
ever come across one of those in person.
Oh my
I
God.
know about the concept from Seinfeld, but I've never come across it.
It's so true. This kid named Josh that I went to school with, played
Shout out,
football
Josh.
with. You know, he's kind of a little bitch, but whatever.
Reverse shout out, Josh.
Shun.
We took it
Unshunned.
back.
But anyway, that kid would stand he was really tall, so he'd look down into your face and just, he had the worst breath of all time. Always, man. He tried to chew Big Red a lot, and it did not work. But he would, I mean, anytime he took a step back, he'd take a step forward. And I swear to God, man, your chests are damn near touching. And he's just like, "Hey, man, I just went to I went and saw some girls at the basketball game." And it's like the scene from SpongeBob, when he has eats the concoction. He just, on everybody. It's just like that. It's horrible. It's horrible.
This was my largest grouping because I have a lot of problems with people.
People suck, man.
Yeah, they do. They're the worst. So the first thing, and this is one very specific example, and this can kind of go with work too because it pops up more at work, I would say, than in normal life. But just like unidentified acronyms, when like you're talking in your business jargon or whatever, and you just throw the acronyms in the middle of talking, whatever it is, you just say it, and then like when you ask, what does that acronym stand for? They just tell you what the letters stand for. They don't actually like give any meaning behind it.
Yeah, no context.
Yeah. So it's like this is a thing, and I don't want to give too specific of an example because then he'll definitely know I'm talking about him. But like, it's like, let's say somebody throws out, "Oh yeah, I was talking to the CEO the other day and he said blah, blah, blah." It's like, if somebody doesn't know what CEO is, which they probably should, and you go, "Okay, well, what's the CEO now?" And the guy goes, "Chief Executive Officer." That doesn't really mean anything to you if you have no context around it.
Yeah, I mean,
like to most people it means something because everyone knows what a CEO is at this point, but like
people still don't.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's all about the asking of the question.
If you know what CEO stands for, then you know what a CEO is. If you're asking what CEO stands for, saying Chief Executive Officer means nothing beyond that. Well, it's like, well, he's the guy in charge of everything.
That's kind
of you have to give a little bit of a description.
For me, it's always of what? Like, I mean, he's the CEO of what?
Right.
Most of the time, like, yeah, my buddy's the CEO of this company. It's like, okay, is he a CEO of a fucking snow cone stand or a CEO
Are there 3 people working for him or 300?
Yeah, exactly.
Big difference in those two things. My next was just flaky planners.
I can be one of those people sometimes.
Well, so Are you a person who will just be like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna do it, or are you like, yeah, I'll be there, but have no intention of actually going?
No, I never say I'm gonna be somewhere and then won't do it. Like I
Yeah.
try to keep my word.
Yeah, so I'm talking like I don't if you give me a maybe. So
I'm a
as an
maybe guy.
adult, yeah, as an adult, if someone gives me a maybe, that's a no in my mind. If they show up, then it's a bonus. But if they say maybe to me, it's just like, okay, that's not fucking happening.
For me, my
Because
answer's
maybe to adults usually means either I have something else going on, so I probably won't go, or I'm waiting for something better to come along. But the one that bothers me is the yeah, I'll definitely be there, and then but really they're just looking to see if something better comes up. And usually something better comes up and they decide not to do it. It's like, well, fuck you. Why did I even invite you?
yeah, exactly. If you're just be honest, and that's
Now I'm at this place by myself because you said you would be here and you're not. Thanks.
that would be shitty, and that really pisses me off. And I that's not what I do. I'm always a I'd love to, which is true. Most of the time when people ask me to do shit, which is not all that often, I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. But it really just depends on how my life goes. I always got something going on. That's the
Right.
life we live today,
But
man.
but do you qualify it as that? Do you say, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I just don't know if I'll be able to do it.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
all depends on like right now. Yes,
I got to talk to my wife. I got to check.
exactly,
My daughter might
exactly.
need something. There's a lot of moving pieces. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. That's a different thing. That's fine. It's when you say, oh yeah, definitely, and then just have no intention of actually doing it,
Yeah,
or
those
you
people
have an
suck.
intention, but then at the last minute something else comes up, and instead of telling the something else that came up last minute that no, I can't do it, I already have plans, you decide to do the thing that came up. It's like, well, fuck you. Why? I don't get it. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
get.
that's a
If I
bummer,
say I'm
man.
gonna do something, I'm gonna do it, and if I can't, I'm like on the phone texting like, "Yo, sorry, can't do it." And like I feel like with some people, I have to text them 100 times if they say they're gonna do something leading up to that actual thing to make sure they're actually gonna be there. And it's like I shouldn't have to do that. If you say you're gonna be there, maybe one extra text would be like, "Okay, what time are we meeting?" That kind of thing. But it shouldn't be like, "You sure you're coming? You sure? Are you still coming? Okay." You said you're coming. I'm booking the tickets. Can we go? Okay. Like
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
that's bogus, man. Because that's just common courtesy. It's like you're an adult. Come on now.
You should be able to handle your social schedule at this point to not double book things.
Well, it's just well, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
come on, buddy.
Do you have anything else? Because I have one more, but
I
I don't
want to
want
hear.
to
I
go.
want to hear your last one.
Okay.
I'm good on people.
Okay. So my last, and this is probably the worst type of person in my mind,
Ooh.
the one-uppers,
Ah, yes,
or
that's a
like
good
specifically
one.
people who have to make huge leaps to compare something that's going on in their life to someone else's story. Like somebody will just be there telling a story of something that happened, and this other person will be like, "Well, yeah, this one time when I was 6, we did this thing." Like, all right, let's say me and my wife go on a cruise, and we're telling a story of something that happened on the cruise. This other person goes, "Oh yeah, well, when I was 6, we went out on a fishing boat for a day, and we didn't catch any fish." Like your story has nothing to do with my story.
After they interrupt you in the middle of
Yeah,
it too.
I was telling you about snorkeling in the Bahamas, and you're talking about when you didn't catch a fish off the coast of Florida. Like those aren't the same things.
Yeah,
But
not even.
you had to cut me off and tell your story. And yeah, just the always the one upper. Like I tell my thing, and then you've got to be one better, even though it's probably not one better. You just have to have something that's better. Like you can't just be like, oh, that's a cool thing that happened. You have to tell me something cool that happened to you in response.
Yeah, you got to be cooler than me.
Yeah,
And
which
God, that is so aggravating, dude. You know what
yeah.
you know what I do to those people is as soon as they finish, I'll start laughing like,
Yeah, I just kind of go, okay.
yeah, cool.
Great.
Yeah, you're really awesome. Um,
So so I have a really great story about this that just happened the other day as I'm, kind of prepping this outline. My wife watches the Kardashians, all of
nice.
the different iterations of such. And she likes to watch it while she's getting ready in the morning. So like I'll wake up and I'll go in the bathroom. She'll be watching it, like while she's doing her makeup and stuff. So I overhear what's going on. And one of the Kardashians, I believe it was Kim, was on there comparing her psoriasis to like, do you know the disease where people have like blotchy skin?
Yeah.
Like they have like the big kind of really pale
Mm-hmm.
blotch. If it's black people, they're almost white blotches, and then with white people, they're just like really, really pale. I don't know the name of it. I probably should have looked it up, but I didn't. And I know a couple people who have had this disease. So she's like comparing. She's working with this model who has this disease. So she's got these white. She's a black model. She has these white blotches all over her face and arms and everything. And I mean, she's beautiful and like a model. So all that.
She's getting
And
paid to be hot.
yeah, exactly. Kim Kardashian's going, I'm really glad I got to work with her because it just really means a lot. I've dealt with psoriasis my whole life. And, so it's really cool to get to work with somebody who kind of understands that thing I'm going. I'm like, no, those aren't the same.
Those aren't even close.
You've got a little itchy patch on your arm that you can cover up.
That's not even the same universe, dude.
No.
Oh. But
Like,
man,
I know there are like extremely bad cases of psoriasis, and I am not trying to diminish psoriasis at all. Like I know
Kim
having these
Kardashian
constant
ain't got it,
itches.
though.
Well, right, and even if you have a really bad outbreak and you have to go like take pictures, you have a modeling gig or something like that, you have a bad outbreak, you can cover that up with makeup, and you're done. This lady can't cover up what she has, and if she did, she'd like that would be just completely offensive to anyone else having this disease. So I just thought that was funny. Like, just walking through and I'm like, why the fuck could you even compare what you're going through to
That's a really
that?
good example, dude. Because
Yeah.
that's the audacity of the one-upper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Of
understand
like,
that.
yeah, my thing is just like your thing, even though it's not.
Or the people that the one-upper when it comes to like deaths. So it's like death in the family. Like, say you have a sibling and they're like, yeah, man, I had this like cousin. My old cousin, man, he died when he was like 29. He was too young.
Oh, were you guys close?
And it's just
Well,
like,
no, I saw him like 3 times. Probably 2 or 3 times in his 29 years of life. Yeah.
yeah, it was the worst.
Oh, that's
is,
the same thing as
yeah,
my
it's
brother. Fuck you.
Tyler, Terry. Yeah, it was my cousin Terry. And it's just like,
Tracy.
you don't remember?
Tracy, that's it.
Yeah, Barry. It was Barry actually. But,
Oh.
10 points to you for good sniffing that out. but yeah, when people
Yeah,
kind of
that one's
fuck up
really
on the
bad. Yeah, I know what you're going through, man. I had to go through something similar. Like, no, you fucking didn't.
Yeah.
And even if you did, I don't care what you had to go through. Like, that doesn't help me go through what I'm going through.
Yeah, just buck up, man. It'll be okay. It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Why don't I buck
Time
my
heals all
foot into
wounds.
your fucking nuts? Fuck out of my face.
Dumbass.
If someone listens to this, I think they actually do. They'll know
Shout out.
exactly what I'm talking about. You butthole.
Fuck you, Barry's cousin.
You butthole.
All right, so the next is things in relationships, and I actually didn't think of anything off the top of my head here. I'm hoping if you have some things that'll spur some things in my mind, because I've been in a very happy relationship for the last 10 years now. So like all of the relationship drama I had in my college years is kind of out of my mind.
Congratulations on that, man.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
It's nice that I couldn't think like there's things that specific people did that I do not like and do not appreciate, but they're not like in any relationship this could happen and it annoys the hell out of me.
Oh yeah, and I have one specific. Actually, I have two.
Go for it.
First is a weak will and no sense of self. God,
Okay.
I could not stand.
Elaborate.
I couldn't stand women who had no idea who the fuck they were.
They just morphed into you, basically.
Not even, well, some of that, but it's just they had no identity, man. They just what do you want to do in your life? I don't know. I might do hair or something, and it's just or how do you feel about this? I don't know. I just they have no opinions about anything.
Yeah.
It's just like
I would put something else on top of that, and I would put this in the people category because I've never dated anyone like this. But just the whoever this person is around, they morph their whole self into that. Like, so whoever they're spending the most time with, they kind of become that person instead of like having their own identity and their own thoughts. It's like, oh, well, this person likes this, so I'll also say I like this.
Yeah, I don't want to be with myself. I'm with myself all the time. I don't want to.
Fucking lunatic. I don't want to be with me.
Exactly. And in regards to a weak will, like I just couldn't stand anybody who gave up on, like, I'm an intense cat, dude. I have a lot of drive. I want to get shit done. Like, I want to go somewhere. And when being in a relationship where they don't share that feeling is super tough, where they just, no adversity, like little to none.
Yeah.
And they're like, whatever.
Yeah,
It's
there's got to be some fire sometimes.
You gotta have some
There was this
fire in your
girl
belly.
in high school that like she was on the tennis team and like and I was on the tennis team. So and like girls and boys matches were at the same time and whatnot, and but different people would play at different times. So like I would finish and I'd go watch her or whatever, and like she would, if the match was going too long, she would just like basically throw the game because she didn't feel like doing it anymore.
Oh my
And it
god,
wasn't
that would
that
piss me
it
off
wasn't
so
even
bad.
that the other person was better than her and she was just like clinging on and knew she was going to lose and just was getting it over with. It was like it was a competitive match, but it was running like an hour and a half, so
She was tired.
let's cut this shit out. She wasn't even tired. She just was like didn't feel like playing anymore. So I was just like, and I was in high school and college. I was really super competitive. I've toned it down a little bit now, but not. And I was just like, how do you like? You were beating her and then you lost, and she's like, yeah, I didn't feel like playing it. I just wanted the match to be over. I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah,
How do you just
give
turn
up?
off this thing that says I don't want to win? It was very odd.
I do like winning. Winning is pretty awesome.
Well, even if I know I can't win, I'm still gonna like try hard
fuck yeah,
to.
man, that's the whole point. It's like I'm gonna do my damnedest at everything I do. So my second one, I think every dude listening to this will probably understand, and it's for people. I don't know. I don't want to just pigeonhole it, but when you're with someone and they don't know where to eat.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm kind of bad about this too. I will admit that I hate it about myself, but God, sometimes it's just like, hey, where do you want to eat? I don't know.
And then you suggest 15 things, and it's still no.
Yeah, my wife's
No,
gonna
don't want that. Don't want that. Don't want that.
kick my ass.
My wife will do that sometime. We've gotten better at it.
She's gotten
But,
really good
yeah.
because we try to go to as many different places as possible. Like if we find we hear about a new restaurant, we try to go there. We like trying different and new cuisine.
Well, see, I'm the opposite. I don't like. There are very few things I like, and I'm not picky, but I'm specific.
I'm picky.
I like
fuck,
specific
dude.
things.
I don't eat vegetables.
And oh, neither do I.
I haven't eaten a vegetable in years.
I make these vegetable smoothies, and those are my servings of vegetables because they mix them with fruit and apple juice, and I'm like, that's fine. That can be my serving. Now, every once in a while, I'll have like a generic ass salad. So yeah, I'll have just like a bland salad or something like that every once in a while, but very few vegetables. And like, so I'm not picky. Usually, anywhere we go, I can find something. So like, I'll eat a chicken sandwich or a hamburger or whatever, pretty much anywhere. So like when she can't decide and she's like, well, you're so picky that I don't know if you're going to like this. I'm like, do they have a chicken sandwich, a steak, or a hamburger? I'll be fine.
Yeah, if there's meat, give me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. As long as it's not seafood. Fuck
I hate
seafood.
seafood. Yeah, it's gross.
Well,
don't tell me to try this kind of seafood because it really doesn't even taste like seafood. Fine, I'll just eat chicken then. You know what really doesn't taste like seafood? Fucking steak.
Yeah, steak is delicious. I will eat crab rangoon though. That's about it. And usually, there's not even any crab in there.
Yeah,
they don't tell you
not.
that at restaurants.
It's more likely cat, but whatever.
Dude, don't say that. No. Cat rangoon. Oh, that's a better ring to
it. Yeah. And that's like if you bring up that you want to go out to eat, all right, it's on you to figure out where we're eating then.
Yeah, with friends back in the day, it was always, well, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? It's like I'm the only one with a job and money and the car, so it's just like, so it seems like you just want me to throw out random shit that you can do because you can't do it on your own.
Yeah,
you fuck faces.
It's exactly what they want. Is that all we have for relationships?
That
was pretty tame.
Yeah,
that was pretty tame as far as relationships.
I've been in an amazing relationship for going on 6 years, so it's not that long, 5 years.
Mine's almost at 9. I gave us an extra year, but in September we'll be at 9.
Yeah.
So
I will say I've known my wife since I was 16, actually.
no, that helps.
Yeah, I met her at one of my second job ever, and she worked there
Was
at
she
the
the
time.
Wiccan chick who introduced you to Game of Thrones?
No, but
Oh.
she was the smoking hottie who was married to some guy who was just like, how the fuck did he get her? This dude's got to be loaded or packing is really all I could think. And she moved away and then came back years later, and it was like, hey, you're back, and we've been together ever since.
There you go. That'll do it. All right, so let's talk transportation. Planes, trains, automobiles, whatever it is you got. I'll kick this one off. So this goes along, you said this earlier in, I think, the people section, but just drivers that don't understand or seem to care about how the rules of the road work.
Yes.
Really bad at four-way stops, as we had in the intro. Roundabouts are bad, and just merging like onto on-ramps and highways and things like that. It's like, it's not that fucking hard. Pay attention to what the people around you are doing, and you'll figure out what needs to go on.
Yeah, it's like people break. They're just like,
Yeah. Roundabouts are like the easiest thing in the world to figure out once you've done them twice, and just anytime a new one goes in, it's chaos for months.
Yeah, we have one in my entire city of 114,000 people, and I
just a mess,
shit
isn't
you
it?
not, it's a fucking mess. I bet there's been 65 wrecks since they put it in. It hasn't even been 6 months.
We have this mall that has the worst parking lot in the history of parking lots. It's
That's
got
tough.
weird entrances and exits that you can only get in from one way or the other. Like, people are having to U-turn in the middle of shit because that's the only way out, and like there's all these three-way intersections where one side doesn't stop but the other two do, and it's just a mess always, and it's the people are just cutting across everywhere. Everything is going on it because it's an outdoor mall, so everything's spread out, and there's just like it's the biggest mess I've ever seen in my life. And every time we go there, we're just like, why do we come here? This parking lot's terrible.
Yeah, it's you justify
Gulf Coast
it
Town
with the
Center,
one.
fuck your parking lot.
The managers listen like, yeah, I know.
And they just keep adding more shit in there, so it makes it messier and messier because they don't put new like roadways in or anything.
Yeah, another place that really sucks is fast food parking lots. I feel like I always
Chick-fil-A especially. Chick-fil-A is the smallest parking lots ever.
Dude, they are. I swear to God, there's
Tastes so good.
consistently a line that backs out all the way to the road. So it's just, you're trying
Well,
to
so
weasel around.
do they do this up north? They've started doing this at all the ones down here in Florida. They have, instead of just going the drive-through like a normal drive-through, they have the fucking employees come out to the road and take orders through the people's window. They got a little tablet and they take orders through the window. And it's like, well, how is this faster? Like, because nobody's moving. People got to look at menu. Like, they got to hand them a paper menu. They got to figure out what they want. And then the cars get, like, in a weird order because sometimes they can go, sometimes they can't. It's like, it's just a mess. I'm like, just use the drive-through as it's
intended.
Supposed to be intended. Thank you.
Yeah, they definitely do that up here, and it's ridiculous. They stopped having the cow dance outside.
I haven't seen a cow in a long time.
It gets humid.
I got to wear that cow costume. Oh no, I didn't wear a cow costume. I was the eagle for my college though.
Nice.
At Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
Nice. At Chick-fil-A, did you fight anyone in your eagle uniform?
No, we didn't fight. But I did this because I worked in the sports marketing department at the college. So like I fit in the suit best, I guess. So every once in a while I would have to wear it. Like at games and stuff, it's a cheerleader or whatever. But like when we were just doing like events at restaurants or, other things like that, meet and greets, things like that, it was somebody from the marketing team. And usually that was me for the 6 months that I worked there. Yeah. So like we did this thing at an Applebee's one time where like I would go in the costume and the other intern would just walk around with me and hand out coupons for the next game or whatever it was or schedules. I don't know what it was. But so we went out by the road and like we're doing the thing, waving to cars passing by, all that. And like I would just start chasing the cars down the road in the costume, and that thing is very hard to run it. The head's way too big, the feet are too big. So I was like, I'm just gonna have fun with this, and I would run after people, and always a good time in the costume.
Oh my god! See,
hot as balls though.
I bet it was hotter than fuck.
Yeah, this isn't Southwest Georgia, so like it was not.
Georgia.
Yeah, it was not cool ever.
No, dude. Fuck that. And muggy and bugs.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
no. Yeah, see, I would have probably just tried to fight someone for the comedic effect. I wouldn't have
No,
even
I
gone
never did
hard. I
that.
would have been like, hey, bro, just, swing at me a couple times. I'll swing at you. It'd be cool.
I couldn't see well enough because you look through the beak of it, and then it's got like this bicycle helmet inside. I'm just blowing people's minds here with all this mascot knowledge. But like
I've always wondered.
it's got this bicycle helmet inside that doesn't fit any normal sized head ever. Because this is the shitty secondary costume. This isn't the one the cheerleaders get to wear. This is the like it's just stuffed in a closet. So like the helmet doesn't fit anyone. I have a small head anyway, so it doesn't really fit. So I'm constantly like trying to strain my neck to hold the head on. So like anything more athletic than running down the road, I would not have been able to accomplish.
Did you ever scare anyone really bad or chase it after them? Did you ever get that old lady that was like, "I'm calling the cops, you son of a
No,
bitch"?
they were in cars. I wouldn't chase after real people. That would be way creepy.
Seriously,
I wouldn't do that.
Where
I
I'm
would
from,
though.
people would stop in the middle of the road and get out and beat the shit out of you. like people are crazy
No,
around here.
everybody loved it because it was a college town. Like the college was mostly the only thing going in this town. So like everybody loved the mascot.
Yeah.
And I would do it at basketball and volleyball games sometimes, not like on the court, but just like walking around handing out whatever the fuck we hand out. And like I would always like sneak up on my friends and fuck with them because they didn't know if and when I was in it, because sometimes it wouldn't be me, it would be somebody else.
Dude, that's perfect.
So like I would just like put my arm around them and like snuggle up to them, things like that were like boundary pushing if it was somebody I didn't know. So that was always fun.
I'd probably always have the urge to say, call, motherfucker. Ah!
You can't talk in the costume.
Oh, Eagles talk.
I guess.
Calls, bro. Call.
What do you got for your first thing for transportation?
All right, I have one and only thing. One and one.
Oh, I got two more.
I have one more.
They should be short though.
Very specific. It's when bicyclists hog the road, and I have a story.
Yeah.
I have a story for this.
Share the road. Well, no, fuck, you're in my fucking lane. You're on the line of the bike lane. Like, get over into the bike lane so I don't run you over.
Oh, there's tons of them. They never use it. But I live in an area that has bike trails all around me. Mm-hmm. So there's this intersection. I live in a cul-de-sac, so there's this intersection I have to go to get out of my neighborhood. And there's a portion of the bike path that goes across where I have to stop.
Right.
At that junction, there is a stop sign, or there used to be. I think someone stole them. And the words spray painted in giant 5-foot-tall letters, stop, on the ground. For the bicyclists. Exactly. Yeah. And I can't tell you how many times I've been flipped off. People have thrown shit at me. And it's like, dude, you are a little bitch driving around.
Bicyclists are dicks.
They're dickweeds, man. It's like, bitch, okay, you are wearing spandex that my wife wouldn't be caught dead wearing.
The guys that are head to toe in the biking garb and have the road bikes, like, they're the biggest dicks. Like, somebody who's just, like, out for a Saturday afternoon ride, they're fine most of the time. See, it's the guys who are going like 16 miles on their bike.
Exactly, yeah. And they take up the whole road like, hey man, I'm fucking riding my cycle here. And it's like, you know what? Well, I'm driving a car, and I'm going faster than you. And this weighs a lot more.
I'm going faster, and it's bigger.
Yeah.
And there you have a 3-foot space, and you are on the inside 6 inches of that 3-foot space. When your bike only takes up 6 inches, move to the inside 6 inches, dipshit.
Yeah, get the fuck out of my way. And that's
couldn't figure out which negative connotation I want to throw at him.
You dipshit. You dipshite. But yeah,
I got stuck between dipshit and dumbass.
I think you would do Red Foreman quite proud.
Yeah.
But that's it for transportation. Bicyclists, you get on my nerves. And if you're one of those people, I want you to know how much you suck. That is not fun.
Share the road, dickwads.
Especially if there's a legitimately paved bike trail that's nicer than the road I'm driving on. Like, you better be on that shit. I don't want to see you get out of here.
Yeah, that bothers. We have that in my community a lot because the main road that cuts through the community has a bike path on it, and it's really wide and really well paved and all that. And then all the side roads have sidewalks, which like cyclists aren't supposed to ride on sidewalks. Like it's technically a rule, but most people don't follow that rule. But with the bike path, they are supposed to ride on that. And we have the road's like just wide enough for two cars, and sometimes they'll have like utility workers on the road, things like that. And these cyclists ride in the road instead of on the specified bike path. And I'm like, what are you doing? I can't get by you and around this utility worker and around the car that's coming from the other direction. Why aren't you using the bike path?
Yeah, no
I
shit.
get it when you're on a road that doesn't have a bike path, but we specifically have bike paths. And the reason they do it is because there's hills on the bike path, I guess. But like,
I don't
fuck
give
you.
a
So
I
you
don't
got to
give a
work a
fuck.
little harder.
You got a goddamn bike. You're fine. You're fine.
You're trying to get exercise. That's more exercise.
Exactly. If it's that bad, get off and walk. You know, walking like people do. Try it.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet. I mean, you'd freak out if I wouldn't drove on the bike path, wouldn't you?
Probably. I'd be a little worried. So my next one, and this might fall under people as well, not putting your carts back in the cart corral or taking them up to the store.
Yeah, it's a
Like
bitch.
just leaving them in the middle of parking spots, or worse, in the middle of the fucking lane that you need to drive through to park. The people who put it on the median, like that's a little better, but like just take the 10 steps to go to the cart corral or the front of the store.
It's too much, dude.
It's not that hard.
That's,
like my
that
wife
is
will
so
complain
hard.
because my wife tries to do it sometimes. I'm like, no, take it, and she's like, well, no, I'm not going to because I have the kids and blah blah blah. I'm like, fine, I'll take it. And it's like, no, you leave the kid in the cart, you take the cart up to the thing, you take the kid out, and either the kid can walk back to the car or you can carry the kid back to the car. Like it's not that hard to figure out.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's a couple extra steps, but then people aren't having to pull carts out of every which way. You're making it harder for the minimum wage people who have to go around and collect these things.
Yeah, who are
Like,
dying
what-
out here like, Jesus,
Yeah.
that's a horrible job.
What are you doing? Why? Yeah, it's easier, but is it better? No.
No,
Like,
it's
put your carts away, people.
very not nice.
Yeah, and then just airports. That's
Yeah,
all inclusive.
airports. Yeah, fuck airports.
It's mostly, I've got the TSA pre-check now, so that goes pretty smoothly. Getting through, get my bags checked and everything like that. But the boarding of the plane and unboarding is really what we need to work on. This FAA or whoever's in charge of this, like we got to get something down because it's just a madhouse. I fly Delta most of the time because that's where my rewards program is. And it's just like they have the different loading zones depending on when you check in for your ticket.
Southwest
So
is the same.
Yeah, so if you have zone 1, you go on first, zone 2 goes second. But when they call like the pre-boarding for people who need assistance, everybody gets up out of the chairs and everybody just stands in a big ass clump kind of close to where you actually go through the tunnel, but not really that close. Nobody can ever tell what zone's actually boarding or when or who's in line, who's not in line. Everybody's just like mingling around. Like, we got to figure something out. I don't have the solution, but there's got to be something better.
Yeah, let's do it, or I'm gonna get pissed.
Yeah. And then getting off the plane is just as bad. You got the asshole businessman who didn't give himself enough time in between flights, he's in the very back seat and he's trying to just bowl through everybody to get to the front of the plane. And it's like, well, okay, dude, you can schedule your layovers. Don't give yourself 40 minutes when you're going through Atlanta. You need at least an hour and a half in Atlanta. Everyone knows that. But nope, you need to be there quick. That extra 40 minutes is going to save you a lot of time when you get there. You've got the people with 6 carry-on bags somehow who are trying to grab them all from the overheads. They got one under the seat. They got one on their back already. They're just taking up the whole fucking aisle. You've got people from the front who decided they weren't going to get up right away, but they're going to get up like halfway through because they're sick of
Halfway through.
They were gonna wait until everybody was off the plane to make it easier on themselves, but then they got sick of waiting, so they get up in the middle of everyone now. It's just like, we got to figure out something better getting on and off planes.
Yeah, no shit. And you always have that one drunk bastard too getting off the plane. It's just taking forever. I don't know if you have that on Delta. Every flight I feel like I've ever flown, there's always that guy on Southwest.
I don't know that I pay enough attention to it because I'm usually, I have my headphones on, listening to music, going to the plane. I get on the plane, take my tablet out, put on a movie almost immediately, again with my headphones on. Then we land, I put the tablet away, take my phone back out, put my music or podcast or whatever I'm listening to back on. So I'm very oblivious to specifics of what's going on around me. I just know that nobody's moving when we should be. That's the other problem.
That's a tough one.
The plane lands and everybody fucking stands up. but they don't open the door for 10 minutes. It's like, okay, why are we standing right now?
Yeah.
You're not going to get it off any faster. Wait till they open the door, then everyone can stand up.
It's like your ass is way too close to my face.
Yeah.
Please move.
Yeah. Got a lot of problems with you people at airports.
Yeah, you fucks.
Just and don't talk to me on a plane.
Yeah, I don't really want to know.
I have my headphones on. Do not start a conversation with me unless you need me to get out of your way to go to the bathroom. I had a flight one time where I watched a movie. I believe it was Logan Lucky. And it was a great movie.
Yeah,
check out Logan Lucky.
Movie.
So, or no, it was Kingsman. It was the second Kingsman.
Also, that one's okay.
Yeah, the first one's really good. The second one, not so much. But so I'm watching it, and I get done, and the lady, she's not a lady, she's probably my age, maybe a couple years older, sitting next to me goes, "So how was that movie?"
Oh.
And I was like, "What?"
Are you watching
like,
that shit on my shoulder?
Don't let me know that you're paying attention to what I'm doing.
Freak.
I was like, oh, it was pretty good. It wasn't as good as the first one, blah, blah, blah. Like, I gave her what she wanted, but I'm like, why are you talking to me about what I just watched? Like, don't let me know that it's fine that you're looking over my shoulder. Don't let me know that you're looking over my shoulder. That's really weird.
Yeah. No shit. That's kind of...
I do that. I like to do that because I'm tall. I'll, like, when everybody gets off the plane, they take their phones out and text their significant others or whoever they're going to meet, right? So, like, I'll sit there and I'll kind of, like, glance down at what they're typing on their phone. But, like, it'd be, like, which is kind of creepy enough as it is. I get it. I don't know this person, though, so for me, it's just pure enjoyment. Are they having a fight? Are they planning something fun? What's going on? It's interesting. I like to study people and what they're doing. It's fun for me, especially when I don't have to have any input on it.
Exactly.
And there was one time I was on a plane, and I was watching, and it was this girl who thought that she was going to get engaged that weekend while she was in town. But didn't know, like, she wasn't sure, and, like, her friend is texting her, trying to convince her, like, oh, no, you trust me, you want to be there, you want to stay with him, it'll be fine. And she's like, I don't know, like, maybe I'll just find something else to do. And she's like, no, you want to do it.
Gotta do it.
So that was pretty funny. But how weird would it have been if I started talking to that lady and be like, yeah, I think you should go out with the guy.
So I was just thinking that, dude, and then just walked away, just rolling your little.
Well,
thing
no, because
we
were stuck on the back of the plane and nobody was actually moving. It was in the part of the offboarding where everybody stands up and just doesn't fucking move. So.
That's even worse. Like, you just pack like sardines together. So I really think you should go.
really, just. I think you'll have a good time.
Go
to Connor's, great steakhouse.
You need to
Do you
listen.
like seafood?
You
Try
need
this
to listen
place.
to Amanda. She knows what John wants. Yeah, if someone did that to me, I might. Yeah, I'd probably say, "Who the fuck are you?" What?
All right, so final category, things in media, and I also threw a thing in like shopping scenarios on here too.
Ooh. All right,
I'm gonna throw that one out first.
Okay. Sales
on items that aren't really sales. So there's two ways of doing this. You have the Kohl's way of, they say we're giving you 40% off. Now it's $20. Before it was $60 when no other store in the world is actually selling that thing for $60. Like, you're not giving me $40 off. You're just setting your price low and then making up the higher price. Like, don't tell me that's a sale.
The place I work at is very guilty of that.
Yeah. Is it Kohl's?
No.
Kohl's is the worst.
No, it's not Kohl's.
So here's the other thing is, and I caught this on at a gas station one time. It's buy X amount of this, get this for a few bucks off or free. Or it's usually not free. It's get this other thing for a small discount. So at the gas station, it was buy a car wash with your fill up and get 10 cents off of the per gallon price, right? And I did the math, and I did a whole Facebook rant on this at the time, which this was probably 6 years ago. It was a long time ago. It was like, okay, I got to spend at least $8 on the car wash, but my tank only holds like 10 gallons or whatever it was. So the break-even point doesn't exist. Like, I'll never get to the point where I'm saving enough money on getting gas that this car wash is free, which is what you're trying to tell me, is like I'm getting free money for buying this car wash, which is not the case. I'm just paying extra for something extra. You're not actually giving me anything. Yeah. So like that pisses when you're trying, like, buy 5 of these and get 6 cents off of this other thing. It's like,
No, I'm good.
well, why can't I just buy one of these? Because I only want one of these. And I'll buy this thing for the extra 6 cents if I want this other thing. And that's still cheaper than buying 5 of these and getting that for 6 cents off.
Yeah, but people fall all over themselves for shit like that.
Free shipping is a big one.
Yeah.
My wife all the time will be like, well, I've got $20 in my cart, but if I get up to 35, it's free shipping. So I'm looking for something for $15. And I'll go, well, how much is shipping? $6. So you're going to spend $35. You're going to spend $15 extra on something you don't need rather than paying $6. You're going to spend $9 extra for something you don't need.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just hate paying for shipping.
Yeah, everybody. I think that's like
I agree.
ingrained in the human race.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like
Fuck
paying
shipping.
for shipping either. That's why I have Amazon Prime. But like at the same time, I know basic math, and I'm not going to like let that slow me down. I'm not going to spend extra money on something like I'll take the look at like, is there something I would want for $15 more, but I'm not going to just buy something that's $15 just to satisfy that quota.
Killing
and
capitalism.
go, maybe I'll use this. It's like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Fuck you guys and your fake sales.
Yeah, bitches.
All right, what do you got?
For things in media. All right, just hear me out on this one because it's kind of a long-winded
I gotcha.
bit. It's the lack of creativity.
Okay.
So like,
I'm there.
okay, really, really good media these days is super duper hard to come by. Like, in my opinion, in damn near every medium. Like, in movies, look at 1995. You got Forrest Gump, Shawshank Redemption, 12 Monkeys, Heat, The Usual Suspects, Seven, just to name a few. And now we're kind of lucky to get one iconic film a year. And it's,
Yeah.
I've found that it's
Usually
the same.
it's a Marvel movie.
Exactly. And I found it's the same with books, with comic books, with really all the media I partake in. I'm not seeing a whole lot of creativity and inspiration. And God, that's so fucking music. Ugh. Like, oh my God. And the news? Like, fuck, dude. I used to love reading the news. I get up every day and I read the news for at least an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. I just like knowing what's going on in the world. And I mean, I look at, I am not a conservative, and I think Fox News is silly at times, but
Very silly.
I still read that to get a different opinion. I want all the information. That's what I do,
Right.
and I make my own fucking opinion. So that's why I read 7 different
Yeah,
sources.
the truth is usually somewhere in the middle.
Exactly. But I feel like
I watch like
no
late night
creativity.
segments to get all my news.
There's a lot of good news on
Like
late night
Seth Meyers
segments.
and Jimmy Fallon.
I find Reddit news, man. You can get a lot of good stuff from there. But I mean, I miss opening up the news. I used to read the newspaper after my dad was finished when I was a kid, and opening it up and being like, okay, there's a 2-page article about a new tomb found in the Valley of the Kings in Egypt, and what was coming to the Field Museum that week, and now it's just fucking Iran and oil and the economy and other violent crime. And it bums me out, dude. It sucks. And that's what pisses me off about the media. And I mean, I don't even remember the last time I truly read a fantastic book that kicked my, I mean, A Dance with Dragons is very good, but it's been a while since I've had a book that was just like, wow, I can't put this down. I think the last one was The Guns of August by Barbara Tuchman, like 2 years ago. Longer than that. I mean, that book's from like the 1950s or some shit.
I don't read that much.
I love reading. I think it's awesome.
I don't, like, I am a very slow reader and my mind goes in too many different, I like to do audiobooks, but right now my podcast queue is too long and I'm in the middle of Fire and Blood, the latest Targaryen history from George R.R. Martin, and it's like 200 chapters. They're all only like 8 minutes long, but until I finish that, I can't get on to more things. Yeah. I'm on like chapter 90. I'm about halfway through, but it's a slog. Yeah.
But I mean, think about like the movies I just mentioned. Those were fantastic movies and still hold up.
I will argue that Forrest Gump is not a fantastic movie, but
sir,
that's not a conversation.
That's neither here nor there. That is an iconic ass movie. Everybody's seen Forrest Gump.
It is iconic.
What was
But
it?
is it good?
Excuse
I
me.
said it is iconic, but is it good?
Well, there are, I think, a lot of. I think Suicide Squad was a little iconic.
Yeah.
Same with Justice League or
I
Batman
wouldn't
versus
say Justice
Superman.
League. I would say Batman v Superman might have been iconic. Justice League, I don't even think anybody remembers it happened.
This the first Justice League movie. That was iconic.
It
DC
should have
people,
been.
it should have been. It should have been. It should have shook Marvel's boots, son. But it didn't. It was too bad.
Yeah.
So that's what I can't stand it in media is the lack of creativity, the lack of passion. It's just like you guys are just out here making a buck, and
I mean, I've been working my way back through Breaking Bad recently. I just finished
there you
season
go.
3, so like
Perfect
I'm good with
example.
I'm right now. My shows are Breaking Bad and that '70s show, so like I'm good on my media
But
or my television.
when did Breaking Bad finish? Like 2007?
2013.
Did it? Man, I
It
way
started in
off.
like 2007.
Okay, maybe that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking of. That was just the number that first came to mind. But I mean, that was a long time ago. That was 16,
Yeah.
or
Well, that
16
was
years ago, 6 years
I'm
ago.
I'm rewatching it. My wife's like, "Oh, have you seen this before? Like, why are you getting surprised at things that happen?" I'm like, "It ended 5 years ago, and I haven't watched it again since. We binged the first 3 seasons, so like a lot of the stuff that happened in season 2, I'm like, what the? I don't remember any of this.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing with Skylar and her boss, I was like,
What?
oh, I thought like no, I knew it happened, but I thought like he made a move on her and she turned him down. I didn't think they had this whole relationship and everything like that. Like
Fucking Ted.
there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember the big things, but like all the little things in between, I lost. So I have two kind of general things, and this is the first one is one that I've gone on a rant before on this podcast. It's voice recognition. Like, let's get rid of it. Nobody uses it. It sucks. It's not, and stop with the commercials that make it look so easy.
Yeah, it's really not.
Nobody picks up their remote or their phone and goes, turn on Breaking Bad. And the TV just fucking does it like that.
No,
It's always
turning on.
turn on Breaking Bad, turning on baking bread. No, Breaking Bad, faking Ted. No, 333. Okay, it's so much easier to push 3 buttons than to yell into your fucking remote to turn it on.
Yeah, I had what was Amazon one Fire Stick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With Alexa, and you talk into it, and it just bring up nonsense. It's like, I speak clear English. You should understand this, you goddamn remote.
You're very clear. I always understand what you're saying. We have a Comcast or Xfinity now down here, and that's their big feature now is voice recognition on their boxes. Okay, we don't use their remote. We have a universal remote that controls all our devices, so we use that. But it's like, why? I'm going to yell into the remote, but you can't talk at a normal pitch when talking to these
things. It's like
things.
that
You have to
drive-through
yell.
at the fast food place.
Yep. You have to yell, so I'm going to yell into my remote. You're not going to hear me. And then if you do hear me, I have to confirm what I said anyways. Like, you don't actually just go to the show. You bring up this screen that says, did you say this? So I have to hit OK. And then I have to go over here and hit this button to go to the actual channel. It's like, I know what channel it's on. Why can't I just push 3 buttons?
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. I don't really want stuff.
It doesn't make anything easier.
Very rarely. And I mean, the only time it's ever been easier for me is in a vehicle. Where, I mean, you still have to push a button, and a lot of times it doesn't work very well. But that's been helpful. And
you can get your point across if you need to, if you're doing like the talk to text or whatever.
Yeah. That sucks though. Even that sucks.
Most of the time.
A lot of people, they mean to put a period, but it'll just spell out period. So it's just like, yeah, I just went to the bank and then, had to go get something to eat, period.
Well, that's the other thing about it is you have to say punctuation marks or, anything like that. You have to like really say everything. So you can't just talk conversationally. You have to stop your thoughts and add commas and periods as you're going. And it's like, well, when you think and you talk, I don't say period at the end of every sentence that we're talking here.
We're speaking robot, bro.
Yeah, I guess so. I saw this one commercial the other day that was trying to sell how great like Microsoft's Cortana voice recognition was.
That shit is garbage.
And it's really bad. And the guy's like, he's got his computer and he's sitting there and he's like, look how easy it is for me to write these words on the screen, period. You can do this at home just like I can, period. And like it's showing how easy it is, and it's typing everything out the way he's saying it, blah blah blah. But he's having to stop himself, he's having to put in pauses and periods and commas and all that, like just like we're just talking about. And I'm like, that's not easier for anyone.
No.
And then it turns out it's a guy with a like he's quadriplegic or something like that.
I mean, that shit's cool. Yeah, that's
well, right. So yes, it's really good for him because he can't use his fingers. So yes, it makes sense for him. And yeah, it's a little more work in his talking to do that, but now he can actually type on a computer. So yeah, that's good for him. Like I felt like an asshole afterwards because I was like, oh, this isn't helping anybody. And I'm like, oh, well, it's helping that guy, obviously.
But you know they wouldn't do it just to help that guy.
No,
it's only
no.
because it's commercially, they can. It's a selling point.
And your Amazon Alexas and Google Homes and Apple whatever the fucks, they're all listening to every word you say. Every single word you say, whether they tell you they're not, they are. Yeah. Oh, the device is listening. There's not somebody on the other end listening because they couldn't give a shit. But it's all going into a data warehouse somewhere where somebody could listen to it if they wanted to. Yeah. So just remember that as you have your voice recognition things. Your phone is already doing it also, but, whatever.
It's fucking getting crazy out here. Calvin, if you get taken by the CIA, figure out a way to contact me. I will save you.
I don't say anything that interesting, I don't think. So then my last thing in media is Facebook.
Fuck Facebook, man. I haven't had a Facebook in like 10 years, dude.
I have a Facebook. I look at it maybe once a month. I haven't used it. I took it off my phone probably 3 years ago. And then, I'll go to it on my computer every once in a while when I'm really, really bored and to, clear out notifications. And I scroll through. I see nothing interesting from these. I probably have 600 friends on Facebook.
Damn, Calvin with the 600.
Yeah, not a humble bragger. I am not trying to brag about that. I've probably met 600 people in my life, and they all decided that they want to be my Facebook friend because I went to college in the Facebook years. I went to college 2006 to 2009. That was when Facebook was coming up. It was the cool thing to do then. And it was then, in college, a cool thing to do. And everybody's grandmas started getting on it, and their uncles, and their weird, person they haven't seen in 16 years that didn't go to college now has an account and can fucking stalk you.
Weird
shit.
It's not
cool
Facebook.
anymore.
Facebook sucks.
Yeah, my wife is constantly on it. I'm like, what are you doing? Who cares? Well, I look at pictures of other people's kids.
See, I
could care less about other people's kids.
Yeah, mine's the cutest, I will say. So that's all I care about. But for me, I lied. I do have a Facebook for my podcast.
There you go.
But I haven't updated. I'm on Fun Fact 74 on that Facebook. But if I'm on
you're
135.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty far on Twitter. But I use the marketplace occasionally.
My wife uses that a lot, yeah.
Fuck, dude, I just got a PlayStation 2, okay? Shout out Crackhead. I got a PlayStation 2, 80 games, and 5 controllers, 4 memory cards. Guess how much I got that for?
Got that Ethernet adapter on there?
You already know.
Can run some games.
25
I don't know if I have one on
bones, dude. 25.
Nice.
He had it listed for 100, and I was just like, hey man, will you take, X amount? And then he texted me later on. He was just like, I need $25 right now. If you can meet me in the next hour, it's yours. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, he was definitely going to buy meth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he looked like it, but hey, it definitely needs a little cleaning up, but woo, go me.
Yeah, we still have my wife's PS2 from it's one of the original, the thick box ones, everything. I don't know if it has an Ethernet adapter or not. I gotta check.
The one I got, but I've been really wanting to play Oddworld, the original one, so I had to get it.
Yeah, I went on, this was probably about a year and a half ago, I just went on this binge of scooping up all my old PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 games, and just, because you can get them on Amazon for $3-4 if you buy them used, and so I just started getting every game that I used to like, and I'm just kind of working my way back through them, because those games were so much more fun. They weren't tied down in microtransactions or open world stuff. Some of the open world games were really fun, Spider-Man 2, Grand Theft Auto, those things were really fun, but the storytelling was much more focused.
It's just
you didn't have a bunch of side missions, all this other shit. Yeah,
it was a game, man. It came complete. It didn't have 2-hour download time. I mean, it's never 2 hours anymore. Internet's ridiculously fast, but still.
I mean, I have probably 25 PS1, PS2 games and 3 PS4 games, and then probably like 7 Switch games.
I have the same thing. PS4. I have an Xbox One. I think I have 2 games, both Halo. And,
I have Madden and Spider-Man.
yeah.
And I think I have Injustice on there. Still.
Justice is dope, but I
haven't played it in a while.
I had so much fun playing Oddworld for like an hour. I barely got anywhere in the game because it's I don't know why it's kind of hard for me where I used to wreck it as a kid.
Oh yeah, the games were so challenging.
Super challenging.
And that's what's great about them is like you play these PS4 games and if you lose like twice to something, they basically just give it to you.
Yeah.
And like they're fun, but the fun is very limited. Or it gets repetitive at sometimes. And it's just like other than Madden, like there's nothing that challenging on PS4 for me that I'm gonna go out of my way and learn to play. And like it's so long in between playing that I forget the controls, things like that. But like these games I pick up, I've been playing NFL Street, I play Need for Speed. Like it's so much fun, and I remember how much fun I had playing those games.
Definitely.
We were clowning on Facebook, and somehow we got onto how cool PS2 is. So
PS2's
like we're kind of going against brand here because we love PS2. But seriously, fuck Facebook. There's nothing of consequence on it. I still have it because maybe in the off chance I need to contact one of these people, I have a way to do it. Or they want to contact me for some reason, there's a way to do it. But like, I couldn't care less.
Yeah, fuck Facebook. Fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg, you
If
robot.
you contact me on Facebook, I will not see that notification for at least a month. So just
keep that in mind.
Not a good way to get a hold of me.
Yeah, if you're dying, don't try Facebook. Heads up.
No, I will not see it. It's not on my phone. It's on the computer that I barely touch. So, does anything else grind your gears?
I think
any
that's
more
it
grievances out there?
That was my top 5 grind my gears. Well, top like 25.
I had more than 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay. Oh, we didn't do Twitter.
I was gonna say let's do some Twitter.
Yeah, we got some good responses on Twitter for things that grind people's gears.
Super specific.
Yeah,
I figured it would just be like traffic or the beach. But it was, paragraphs.
I was like, fuck that one guy who parked in front of me one time and banged my car. Damn.
You cold-blooded.
All right, so let's start at the top with the 10-ish podcast. Check them out. Top 10 lists every week. Great stuff. When the entire movie theater or restaurant is empty, but someone sits right fucking next to you.
Yes.
I took some liberties there with the language, but I think they'll approve of that.
Yeah, I think everybody knows that.
100% agree.
Fuck yeah.
In a restaurant, it's not always under your control because, like, you might get sat by the hostess or whatever. But at the same time, like, as a hostess, you shouldn't sit somebody right next to somebody else.
Yeah, if you have the option.
There was another one that went along with that. Let me try and find it. We'll just get both of those out of the way. This is from the Friends Talking Nerdy podcast. I absolutely hate, when you go to a movie that doesn't have many people watching it, you find a great seat, and the only other movie watchers decide the only comfortable seats they can find are right behind you. There's a special place in hell for people like that.
Yes, and they have crinkly candy wrappers.
Yeah, they're eating the whole time, or they're talking, or they kick your seat, or worse, if they're sitting in front of you and they're like moving around on their phones. Or the absolute worst in my mind is if they sit right fucking next to you.
Yeah,
that would be really weird.
When they sit next to my wife and it's like, dude, seriously? Like, I'm sitting right here, and you really did that? Like, and it's just getting too close. It's like, yeah, I don't like you.
Well, it goes back to an old Seinfeld joke where Jerry and Kramer were going to a movie together, and, Kramer tried to sit right next to Jerry, and he goes, why are you sitting next to me? He's like, I don't know, it was an open seat, and he goes, if we were at my house sitting on the couch, would you sit right next to me, or would you sit somewhere else? He goes, yeah, good point, and he, like, moves over a seat. It's like, yeah. That's common courtesy. You don't sit right next to somebody you don't know.
That's a great point.
Or you do know. From Genevieve Germain. Okay, I might get a lot of flack for this, which I'm not going to give you flack. I agree. That's your house. It's your rules. But I absolutely hate when people come to visit and they leave the toilet cover up. I always have the seat and cover down because having either one of them up grosses me out. I am constantly nudging the cover down and they don't take the hint. You're at somebody else's house, man. Leave it the way you got there.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Don't pee on the seat, gentlemen.
If you do, wipe it up.
For real. I mean, your ladies will love you for that. That's just a little bit of a life advice from 2 happily married men.
Yep. From Sal Krichowski, at Krichowski. Anytime in films when one character says something controversial and someone else laughs, looks around, stops laughing, and says, "Oh, you're kidding?" Probably the most hackneyed joke in Hollywood, and I resent any film that uses it as a crutch. Yeah, I get it,
It's a
but
pretty
like,
good one. It's very niche.
Yeah, I think we're going for a little more day-to-day stuff here. But yeah, I feel you.
I feel you.
It's a bad joke.
I do.
Antoinette Fox,
Hey.
Anne of Tarth. Good for her. She says, for my mama Cynthia, what grinds my gears are new mothers with their baby carriages strolling at the center of the sidewalk like they own it. Inconsiderate and unacceptable. Yeah, that goes along with kind of what we said earlier of just like being in the middle and being in the way.
Yeah, no shit.
Get off to the side.
Yeah.
What bothers me is well, my girls aren't in strollers anymore, but when they were, I would go to like the outdoor malls because we have a lot of outdoor malls in Florida. I would go and I'd be shopping and I'd get stuff for them or whatever, and we'd go into a baby store, and people would see me struggling trying to get the stroller around because these baby stores for whatever reason had the tiniest fucking aisles.
Seriously.
But like I'm trying to get the stroller in. I got the door kind of held open with my foot just barely, and I'm trying to turn the stroller, and there's like just fucking people standing there watching you. Like, hold the fucking door.
Yeah, no shit.
You see me here struggling.
No, it's oh my god.
You're
it's
also
a man.
parent because you're in the baby store. Like you either went through this or will go through this. Just grab the door. It's not that hard.
Yeah, people are iffy.
People are dicks.
People are dicks. Especially
Anytime
in Florida,
I see somebody struggling with the stroller, the least I can do is grab the door for them if they're trying to get in or out of a door. Like
that's just kind of the nice thing.
I'm not gonna go grab your stroller or your baby to help you in that way, but I can do the one thing that doesn't encroach upon your boundaries.
That can make someone's day too. I've seen it. I've seen it.
I seen it.
I seen it.
And then we got Charlie Nickel with the Great Frenzo Clyde avatar, which that is a very deep cut Seinfeld reference. Shout out Thunk Tankers or Tennis Podcast. If you get that reference, hit me back. I'm not going to explain it. You have to know for yourself.
Hit him back.
He says, how about the person on your social media that checks in every fucking time they go to the gym or to a workout? We get it. You're trying to stay active. Please shut the fuck up about it so I don't have to mute, block, unfollow you.
Seriously, dude.
Just generally checking in anywhere. Like, aren't we past that?
Yeah, I mean,
Nobody wants to know where you are 24/7. And also, you're giving thieves a way to know where you are.
No shit. And I really
I thought
can't
we were past
stand
the checking in.
It's when people do that, and for some reason it really bugs me when grown-ass men show themselves off at the gym with their shirts off, oiled up, fucking hairless, and it's like, what are you, dude? Like, what? You naked mole rat.
Hansel, so hot right now.
It's like, what are you doing, man? When I see these hairless ass dudes walking around, I'm sorry, but it cracks. There's some people like that just don't grow hair, but there's
I'm one of those. I don't have I have very hairy arms, but like
I bet you don't
shave
bet you don't shave your fucking chest. You know what I mean?
Maybe the nips every once in a while.
Yeah, you gotta clean them up. You don't want those being too gangly. But when I see some dude that acts like he's hard, like at the gym, howling, lifting weights and shit, and he's walking around with a shaved chest, it's like, dude, what? Like, I feel like that defeats the purpose.
Well, they always got the chest puffed out, walking on their tiptoes, like really trying to be like they're bigger than they actually are. And it's like, you're not fooling anyone.
No, and it's just, I have zero like belief in someone who has no self-confidence in themselves that they gotta shave their chest or something. Like, maybe it makes them look better in their mind. I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
People do weird shit, but for some reason that's like my thing. Like, when I see a grown-ass man who's obviously shaved his chest and arms, and it's just like, dude, what are you trying to be? You're 52 or 53. I said 52 earlier, so I had to change it. But you're not a little boy. Like, grow up now, big guy.
So yeah, back to the checking in real quick. I've got one dude on my Facebook feed who checks in literally everywhere. At a restaurant, gotta check in. Oh, going to another bar, gotta check in. It's like, I check my Facebook so few times, like that's the only thing that shows up on my feed.
Yeah, 360.
Like, what? I don't care where you are. Why does anyone who's following you care exactly where you are? The only people who care are the people who are already sitting right next to you. And guess what? They're there. They're also there. You don't have to tag them.
Yeah, no shit. They know.
Yeah, they know you're there. I'm not going to be going through my Facebook and go, oh shit, he's at Chili's. Let me hit that up. Because one, it'd be fucking weird if I did. And two, I don't like Chili's that much.
Yeah, Chili's, really?
Unless you want to sponsor us, Chili's.
If you want to sponsor us, I will eat the shit out of your chicken again. I'll do it.
They got a good spicy chicken sandwich sometimes. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Just depends how long they leave it in the fryer.
Yeah, I used to love their honey chipotle chicken crispers, dude.
No.
And they changed their chicken supplier, and me and my wife just didn't like it. And we had these...
maybe that's the problem.
We had these coupons from my little cousin. He had cancer. We did a cancer benefit, and that was something me and my wife won. And this dude's basically accusing me and my wife.
Chili's tonight.
No, dude, he accused us of. He's like, we only give these out for people who complain or are a serious problem to the restaurant. And I'm like, dude, bitch.
Okay, well now I have a complaint.
Oh man, I was fucking pissed. I was ready to fight this dude, and luckily my wife got me out of there. And I'll leave it at that. This fuck you, Chili's manager, you punk bitch.
We have a very strict policy at Chili's not to overserve our patrons.
I wasn't even drinking.
This woman was stealing drinks off of other people's plates, and she is not allowed at this Chili's anymore.
Okay. Yeah. I put her face in the database.
I think I read somewhere, or maybe it was on the Office podcast, they mentioned it, that that was in actual just like Chili's manager, like he wasn't an actor. They just had a Chili's manager like come in and say that stuff.
I read that too, and I thought he was fantastic. Yeah. He was perfect.
Yeah, it was great.
He was perfect.
All right, so that's everything we've got to air out. We might do this another time. I'm sure maybe we'll just keep a small list to the side, and when we've got enough, we'll come back and do it again.
Sounds awesome.
It's good to get things off your chest every once in a while.
Felt good. I'm sure you guys will all listen to this and be like, yeah, yes. You know.
And if we missed you on Twitter, you didn't hit us today. Hit us after you hear this. Let us hear what you hate.
Yeah.
Or if you hate the same things we do, or if you like the things that we hate. If you like sitting in meetings that have no point, let us know.
Yeah,
you're
I'd like
fucking
to know
weird
why.
And you're part of the problem.
But I still love you for listening. So
yes, thank you for listening. But you're part of the problem network.
Weird dichotomy here, but so dude.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. Check us out on our website, podcastaboutSomething.com. You can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/podcastaboutSomething. Hit us on Twitter at APASomething or at alone_podcast. We have a merch store. It is tpublic.com/APASomething. And give us a rating or review on iTunes if you're bored.
Very helpful. We appreciate that.
Or if you got a lot going on, give us a review too.
Yeah.
That would be helpful.
We'll get you back.
Way. Yeah.
Mwah.
All of the music is provided by those cats. Thank you very much to those cats.
And you guys stay sassy.
Stay classy.